Oh, boy. It's the Libby Show. What's up, everybody? Colton Dixon here, and you're watching The Libby Show.
How did she do it? Do it. Do it. Do it.
Libby. Libby. Libby.
3, 2,
Libby.
1.
It's the Libby Show. Colton Dixon, welcome to the Libby Show. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm home here in Georgia, just enjoying some time at home and getting to work on the show and everything. And so I'm really glad to get to connect with you. So,
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. It'll be a fun time.
of course, yes. And so you have a self-titled EP coming out very soon. It features the single Miracles. So talk about it and, what stories and moments have inspired this EP release.
Yeah, honestly, the last 2 to 3 years have been crazy. I lost my label pretty early on, about 3 years ago, just because the American Idol deal ended. So it was kind of like a lot of uncertainty for us.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, we're big believers that faith is what precedes a miracle. So we started applying our faith to practicing what we preach, so to speak. And it's easier said than done sometimes. But a few months went by, and then a deal with Atlantic Records here at Loud came to the table, and just couldn't believe it. We're so excited, and knew that it was going to be a change of scenery as well. I've been in the Christian music industry my entire career after American Idol, and this just provides the opportunity to stretch our arms a little further and include some more people, and we're really excited to get to do that more. But yeah, just out of that place of uncertainty, not really knowing what the future holds, these songs were kind of birthed from that. And it's really not funny, but ironic that a lot of us are in the same boat right now, just not knowing, am I going to have a job when this is over? What is life going to look like? So I think, yeah, I think I'm so glad that I was in that position to write from that position, because I think it's really timely.
Of course, yeah, and I mean it's funny because you just answered my next question about the timing of this song and this EP. What do you feel? What do you hope that people hear when they listen to this album? Not just in quarantine time, but after this is all over with.
Yeah. Ever since I started, my mission has never really changed. I want to give hope to people. I want to leave people better than they were when they started listening to my music. My dad taught me that when I was really young, just as it comes to like borrowing things, or you rent a car or whatever. It's like, don't be the person that turns it in, just terrible, like clean it up and make it even nicer than it was when you got it. And I want to treat people the same way. So my music's no different. So I'm really excited, again, just during this time, just to love on people and just to say, hey, we're going to be okay. We're going to make it. It's always darkest before it gets light again. So don't lose hope and keep pushing forward. So yeah, same message, just sounds a little bit different.
What kind of miracles have you witnessed in your life lately? Little, big miracles,
Honestly, financially, I haven't been able to play shows, obviously, because of what's going on. And it's just been amazing to see God come through. Checks that we were like, you know what this is for? Nope. You know what this is for? Nope.
Wow.
Okay, cool. That's amazing. Things like that, or even just what the government is doing for not just your average everyday people, but even different music societies or whatever, just really loving on their artists. It's just been amazing. So financially, we've seen miracle after miracle after miracle. But again, early on, I think we think miracles of these like huge things.
Right.
And I think that sometimes we take for granted the little things. So during that season where we were forced to slow down, didn't know what the future was going to hold, we started just to appreciate life more. And we would wake up and go, today's going to be a good day. We're breathing, you know. And I feel like during this season, a lot of people are going through the same thing. Their identity isn't in their job anymore. It's at home. And I think a lot of families and a lot of marriages are going to be stronger because of all of this. There's going to be a lot of good. But yeah, my wife and I are stronger than ever. It's been so much fun having this time at home with her. She is 6 months pregnant. With twin girls, identical twin girls. So, well, I'm drinking coffee already now. But we're so excited. We were actually, this entire morning, I was putting together IKEA furniture.
I love it.
I looked at the clock. I'm like, it's 12:45. I've got to go. But yeah, so we were working on the nursery. But it's just been a really fun season for us. So we hate what's going on in the world, obviously. Sounds selfish to say,
but it's all, you know, it is comforting to try to think of the positive outlook, even though there are some disadvantages to it all. Like, we have limits that we're working with, but that, you know, enables us to slow down and take our time on things rather than having tons of options, you know?
Yeah. Just make the most of every situation that comes. If you focus on the negative, you're going to be really bitter and jaded. I've been there, trust me. Yeah, when you start to see the positive in life, people want to be around you more. It's just true. You're just a happier person. Yeah.
This song, Miracles, has a very uplifting sound to it, and I want to mention that the late busbee produced it.
Yeah.
Can you talk about his impact on your life and what maybe something that you learned from him in terms of songwriting or production, and just the influence that he had on this song?
Yeah, I'm going to grab something really quick. It applies. I'll be like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Still hear me? I keep this Polaroid by my desk because that is the day we wrote Miracles. And it's so crazy. Busbee is this guy here, for those who don't know. Michael Jade is here, and that is me, in case you can't figure that out. But Busbee's awesome.
Yeah.
I've written with him before. My first record, we did 2 songs, one of them being my first single ever. So he's got a fairly good track record with songwriting, I think. Yeah. But man, I just hate it. I just do. No. There are things in life that happen that we don't necessarily know why, and that bothers me probably more than anything because I want to know why. And
right.
And I know I'll see Busbee again one day. We talked about faith a lot in the songwriting room. He's just a great guy, but hate it more so for his family.
I know, yeah.
But because Busbee's doing really good right now. You know what I'm saying?
Really, really great. He's looking down on all of us saying it's going to be okay.
Down going, man, I really hated to miss that quarantine.
Right, in the panic of everything. Yeah.
Sure. But he's one of the greats for a reason, and super honored that I was able to work with him.
That's great. And did that Polaroid, influence the visuals that you have for your, I noticed you have a lot of Polaroids going on in your...
Not directly.
Yeah.
Maybe it was in like the back of my mind. I think we had already started to talk about the Polaroid thing, and that's Busbee's thing. He had started doing that in the last few years where he would snap a Polaroid every day he was in the studio. And he gave this one to me when I left, which was really sweet.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I did.
Yes.
But yeah, maybe indirectly. Maybe it was just like in the back of my mind. And I was like...
That's kind of a cool tie, though, to be able to share that. And you released a piano version. You're a Steinway & Sons artist, which is really cool. So what do you love about taking a song from its fully produced version and stripping it down to an acoustic version like you did?
Yeah, well, honestly, most of the time it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Normally we start with a piano or someone's playing acoustic, and we're throwing out ideas. It's kind of like more recent that people will start building a beat and everything is computer based. So with Miracles, he's got a grand piano in a studio. So we sat down. He's a better piano player than I am. So he sat down and was playing all these amazing chords, and we were just like, yes, don't stop. um, but yeah, it kind of started there. So I thought it was so cool that we were able to take it back there.
Yeah.
It felt nostalgic for the song, and was able to add my flair onto it as well, which is fun. But yeah, I love doing that with songs. We'll do that live every once in a while with different songs. Sometimes rock songs, we'll strip it back just so people hear the song and the song gets a chance to breathe. Sometimes it can get buried.
Yes, beneath all the tracks and everything. What can you give an example of a rock song that you really loved taking it back to an acoustic version?
Yeah. There was a song I had on my first record called Scars. It's kind of, it's pretty theatrical, heavy. It's got like the drop, heavy guitar. It was just fun. Yeah. Channeling my inner Creed. But yeah, there was a string of shows where I would start it on the piano, and it was just, there's something about hearing a song that you know so well, but then hearing it with fresh ears, and that's kind of what it did for people. That's what it did for me when we were rehearsing the song. It just gives it a chance for people to rehear the song for the first time, and whenever you strip a song back, you're also focused more on lyric than what's going on musically. Mm-hmm. And again, it depends on the song, but a song like that is basically like, hey, like scars remind us who we are. So just like this really beautiful thought that sometimes can get buried beneath the,
all the extra stuff that the crowd loves.
Extras.
Yes.
So, yeah, we really enjoy doing that.
Who are some of your musical influences in particular for this EP?
Oh man, this EP is so different. I grew up on Christian music, and then the Atlantic deal came about, and of course I'm familiar with tons of mainstream music, but it was kind of like, okay, I feel like I had my sound like in the Christian market, and this was just an opportunity to come out with something really fresh. So we were listening to Lauv, we were listening to Shawn Mendes. I've always been a cult. Sorry?
Lauv is so awesome, by the way. His new album is insane. Have you watched the Modern Loneliness video that he put out?
I haven't seen the video.
I'm not even going to say anything about it. Just go watch it. It's so well done. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. It's just cool. Yeah.
We're big fans. His first record, every song was just perfect. Just perfect. I haven't really dove into the new one yet. I'll get there. I'm behind. But anyway, so yeah, Lauv, Shawn Mendes, always been a big Coldplay fan. I play keys too, which is so not like Shawn Mendes vibe. So I'm like, how can I take the songwriting style of Shawn and apply it to more of like an Adele aesthetic? Like, how can we do that? And it took some scratching of the heads a little bit. But we just incorporated more keys like instruments, and it kind of fused this really cool vibe for us. So we were stoked on that. But yeah, it was kind of like taking what I knew growing up with like Switchfoot and DC Talk and bands like that, and then this kind of fresh, like, modern pop Lauv thing, and going, how can we marry this old school thing with this very new school thing and it still feel like me? And I think we came up with something really cool and different that I've never done before, and I'm stoked on.
I'm so excited to hear the rest of it, because what I've heard so far is really, really great.
Awesome. Thank you. It's very soon. It's like a week away.
Literally next Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're almost there. I love it.
Almost there.
Wanderer. Talk about that song for a second, because it's on the EP.
Yeah. Wanderer was actually one of the first songs I wrote for the EP. Wrote with a couple guys, Robopop, who wrote and produced Lana Del Rey video games, and a guy named Nolan Sipe, who writes everything basically. And just two really great guys that we're now really good friends. It's just cool guys. But I came in the studio, and another band that I didn't mention that I just love is Imagine Dragons. I just love how big, and it's just like, that's my vibe. I like really big and rock, but it's not too aggressive. It's just
Right.
perfect. So we're talking, and this was one of those days where Robopop was on the computer, and he's just a genius behind the computer. So he just starts building a beat and building these layers of instruments, and I'm just like, I'm loving all of this. I go to the piano and start playing with the vibe, and Nolan's really good with lyric. So he kind of comes up with this concept. He's like, do you like the word wanderer? And I'm really big on words for like title purposes.
Okay.
Like, if you can have a good title, it basically is it describes itself. The song will. So I'm like, yeah, like, so what does that word make me feel? I'm like, man, like, as far as it relates to my faith, I believe this world isn't my home. My home is in heaven. So until I get there, I'm going around, and I'm trying to bring light to the world, and that's kind of my mission. And yeah, I thought it was just a really cool way to say that. And what I love about music is not everyone's going to get that from the song. Some people may be like, you know what, like, I just kind of feel like I don't fit in anywhere, and this is my anthem. And I'm like, cool, join in, sing it with me. There's no right or wrong answer to how you interpret a song, but that was the meaning and kind of a little bit behind the scenes of how that song came about for Wanderer.
That's so cool. And you mentioned earlier about, the transition from Christian music to pop. And so what do you feel is almost kind of freeing these days of not really having to identify with a particular genre, of being able to kind of experiment and go with the flow and, like you did, put out something fresh and new that you've never done before?
Yeah. Yeah. The moment you label something, you limit it, no matter what it is. We do that with God a lot. We put him in a box, and really the only person we're limiting is ourselves. But anyway, it's a sermon for another time. But yeah, so with Christian music, I'll preface this by saying I love Christian music. Grew up on it, still love it, and believe in it. But yeah, I felt like I was personally called to reach people of any and every religion,
Right.
No matter what it is. I think you can worship Satan and love my music at the same time. I think it's totally possible. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but within Christian music, it just has a sound. And the moment you put Christian music on it, there's also like a connotation that comes with it as well, or an expectation. And yeah, I just think it's just fresh perspective for me and for everyone on the team, just to go, okay, we're just going to peel that label off of it for a second. Doesn't mean I'm going to write anything different lyrically necessarily. But let's just peel that back for a second and see what comes out. A lot of it was similar. I wrote several love songs for the EP. Never tried that before. So that was new. And we wound up with one called Can't Quit You, which is one of our favorites on the EP. We just shot a music video for it not long ago.
When is it going to come out?
I think it's coming out the day of the EP.
Okay.
I haven't seen it yet, so that's to be determined. But yeah, so it just was kind of nice just to like start new and just to see what naturally came out of the season we were in. And yeah, I could talk a lot about Christian music versus mainstream and my thoughts on it, but I think both are great. But I'm excited to maybe get to do a little bit of both.
Yeah, and apply what you love about your Christian music projects with what you're doing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to talk about really quickly, how you've bridged your songwriting community, your artist community between LA and Nashville, because you had the American Idol situation happen, and then you got a record deal, but you still continue to write with those out there and then here in Nashville. So talk about being able to mix those different communities and what that's added to your creativity.
Yeah, it's a great question. I grew up here in Nashville, in a town called Murfreesboro. So
Love
I
it.
grew up like 40 minutes outside of Nashville. So kind of started here, and then the American Idol thing happened. So I was out there just because I had to be, for a while.
Yeah.
But then Nashville was always home base, but I was just out there a lot. And then Idol happened, came back home to Nashville, and honestly did most of my writing in Nashville. Would very rarely and occasionally go out to write in LA. One of those times being with busbee. But this project actually was mostly in LA. I had maybe 4 or 5 sessions in Nashville, and the other 60 something were in LA. And again, I think it was just, I'm so glad it was that way, because I love my Nashville peeps. They're amazing. But I think there's a sound in Nashville.
Yeah. Sure.
And there's a sound in LA as well. Neither of them being wrong or better than the other. They're just different. So I think with this new chapter that I'm in, this new season, I'm just glad that we went even with fresh new people and a certain sound that LA has. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And even just getting to be in the room with people who didn't necessarily see eye to eye with me on everything or believe the same things that I did. Right. It was just refreshing. It's with anything, obviously talking about faith things here, but it can be with whatever. If you talk about the same things and you all agree on the same things all the time, and those are your people, you're not really sharpening yourself, and it just feels kind of dull sometimes. But then you have a conversation with someone where it's just kind of fresh perspective on something. It's just nice. And it kind of just gets back to the heart of what Christians are supposed to be doing anyway. So just all of those things. So just really enjoyed my time in LA, made some really great friends, and they're just super talented. So.
Well, that's so great. I mean, I love your comment about, having community with people that are just different than you and being able to learn and grow. And again, during this time, I feel like we're seeing everybody as one.
Yeah.
We're all on the same level.
We're on the same boat, yeah.
Yeah. So anything else that you're excited about this EP coming out next week, and anything that you want to share that maybe you haven't about the EP with our listeners?
Man, I'm literally excited about every single song, so I could talk your ear off about every single song. I will say a lot of people, myself included, they see an EP and they kind of go, oh, it's just like the bonus songs from the last record. Or I totally think that way. I'm like, oh, they're totally stalling because they need more time for the next record. So they're
like testing the waters, dipping their toes in, and then they'll release everything. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's really not the case here. We've been super intentional about every song. Like I said, there were easily between 60 and 70 songs we wrote for this 5-song EP. So there are a lot of songs that I still want to release, but we just thought these songs were ready and they were the best of the best. And I've never been more proud of a collection of music. People probably say that with every new record they put out. I really mean that. From the production to the songwriting to even just listening back to my first record to this record, even just how my voice has matured and musicality has just evolved. I'm like, wow, I can actually hear a difference in my voice. That's really crazy. I think it's for the better. I'll let you guys tell me that, but it's just been such a fun process, and it came from such a real place. I know it's destined for this time. So yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about it, but I won't. But I hope you guys enjoy it. One thing I will say is just a couple days ago, we dropped some new merch around it. So if you guys are wanting like some extra comfy t-shirts, the comfiest hoodie I've ever had on in my life, for real. I wore it 2 days in a row and I was like, okay, I need to retire this.
Great. I have to say, really great beige color that you chose. I'm about it. I'm about this new trend of like And I think it's why that I listened to. So I had a 6.5 hour drive yesterday, and at some point in the drive, it always comes down to listening to old like 90s music, and I love the whole 90s thing that's happening right now everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
Bring it back. Bring back.
Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the baggy pants thing I don't know about yet. Well, yeah, nice.
Or the white belts with like the holes in them, like the metal holes.
The grommet belts.
Yeah. What's your favorite 90s memory though? Like if you had to choose.
Favorite 90s memory.
Or not something that was a trend during that era.
Probably my favorite like overall memory was going to like Disney World. I was born in 91, so
So was I.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't feel like, I know there are some people that would say we can't claim the 90s because we weren't old enough, but I paid attention like to like Nickelodeon and like
Rugrats all day long. Yeah. There's so many shows like you'll be in Target or something and you'll just see the throwback t-shirts and you're just like, man,
Yeah.
I really shouldn't pay $20 for that Reptar t-shirt, but I really want to.
Yeah. I mean, why not at this point? So
Totally.
awesome.
Yeah, 90s kids. Look at that.
90s kids. Cheers.
Cheers. Coffee.
I have Gatorade in here right now. So it's super random, but I was like, you know what? I don't want just water. We're going to change it up a little bit.
Smooth. I was scrambling to make a coffee before I jumped on. Made it happen.
Well, this has been so fun, and best of luck to you. And where can people follow you and check out your new EP?
Sure. Yeah. ColtonDixon.com is probably the easiest. It'll point you to Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, the new merch store. The EP will be up there as soon as it drops on May the 15th. Yeah, so stoked. The video will premiere there as well, I think. So excited.
Yes.
Exciting times, guys.
Yes. Good things are coming, always. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today. And yeah.
It's the Libby Show. The Libby Show. It's the Libby Show. It's the Libby Show.